Okay, what we have here is a 1999 Toyota Tacoma. It's a TRD. It's got the 3.4 liter. It's a V6. It's four-wheel drive. And what's going on here is we got a mess going on here. And this mess is a radiator needs to be replaced. It's cracked right there. I tried to put some JB Weld on it to give it a seal, but I didn't let it set up enough before I applied it, so it kind of ran down and it didn't get into the crack as I was hoping it would. So it's still spraying and making a big mess. So that's what's going on here. That's what all this spray splashback crap is. So what we have to do is we have to replace this radiator. And there's two different sizes for this truck. And I believe the smaller one is for the standard shift 4-cylinder, but this one's automatic with a V6, so I'm pretty sure the biggest one goes for the V6 automatic. So this is our next project we're getting ready to tear into. What I'm doing right now is I'm just taking off the shroud and I'm getting a measurement of the radiator itself, just to be sure the radiator that we order is the correct one for this particular application. But it's pretty messy, and it only takes a certain kind of antifreeze, and it's $30 a gallon, and that will get expensive after a while. So we need to go ahead and take care of this right away before the winter hits. So what we have to do first is remove the shroud, and that's this right here. There's 4 bolts holding that on. There's 2 going down this side and 2 on the other side. We remove those, and after we remove those, then we just push the shroud back against the motor. We don't have to remove it, but just push it back, so it'll give us access to the removing the radiator. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Another thing we have to do is remove the skid shield that's underneath the truck. Usually there's like 4 to 6 10mm bolts holding that on, and that'll give us access to the petcock, which is the thing that drains the coolant from the radiator. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that now. Okay, this is how it's supposed to look when you start draining the coolant out of the radiator. We got a big pan down there. We got the skid plate removed. There's 3 bolts there, one back there, and one back there to hold that whole skid plate up. And now we're draining the coolant, and then we'll remove the hoses. Okay, we finished up the installation of this radiator on this 1999 Toyota Tacoma V6 Automatic. And the reason I didn't film the installation was because my camera ran out of battery. I'll try to explain the way I had to remove it and then install it. So what there is there's the grill has to come off, and there's these little fasteners right here. They have to be in the unlock position, which is straight down. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One's right in the middle down there. And then there's 2 more fasteners that are holding it up against the radiator support. And those are the ones you have to, they're right down here, right alongside the radiator, right here. And those are the ones you have to pinch on the top and bottom and wiggle the grill while you're pulling it out, and that'll release those clips. So that'll take out the grill. And then once you get the grill out, there's 4 bolts holding it to the radiator support. If you can see it up there, there's 2 on top Yeah, there it is. And then there's two underneath here on the bottom. And the ones you get to on the bottom, you have to go through the bumper with a warbly. That's an extension on your ratchet that lets it go at different angles. And then once you get that out, then the radiator pulls straight up and out. Now what we're doing now is we're just cleaning up the mess that the old radiator made. And that's all these little spots and drops of coolant that are splashed all over. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that right now. But that's how you install a radiator on a 1999 Toyota Tacoma. You got to also remember that when you pull the coolant lines for the tranny, you have to put a pan under there so it catches the transmission fluid. And about 1.5 quarts leaked out when I was doing this job. And this is Dextron 2 that you have to replace after it leaks out. And it has to be at hot operating temperature for it to be a correct reading on the dipstick. And the dipstick is right over here. So you have to make sure you put the transmission fluid back in after you complete the job to make sure that you don't burn up your transmission. So right now we're just cleaning off the excess coolant that sprayed when the bad radiator was in. So we're doing that right now. The job feels like it's complete to me. I've cleaned up all the excess coolant that sprayed all over the engine. I've cleaned up the radiator support, topped off the coolant reservoir, put a little bit more of that red coolant that comes factory in this truck just to bring it up to the full level. And now we're done with this installation. Looks like nobody's ever been under here. That's what I like when I get done with something. Make sure it looks like nobody's been under here doing anything. Looks like it came from a factory like this. But that's how you install a radiator on a 1999 Toyota Tacoma 3400 V6 Automatic. Came out very nice looking. It's already had a couple 100 miles on it since we put this radiator in. So that's what made me check the reservoir. And it just made me add a little bit more just to make sure that it's topped off to the proper level. So now we're done.